This is the Blackbeard X. The Blackbeard X is the latest innovation to come to you to help you improve your shooting, courtesy of Mantis. The Blackbeard X consists of a magazine replacement and a bolt carrier group and charging handle replacement to turn your actual weapon into a training weapon, but now with increased capability to allow you to analyze different dimensions of your shooting that you've never been able to analyze before. Those of you familiar with the Blackbeard notice that there's one small variation between the Blackbeard and the Blackbeard X. The original Blackbeard consisted of a smaller 20-round size magazine. The Blackbeard X consists of a 30-round magazine that now has the additional capability of an integrated Mantis X. For those of you not familiar with the Mantis X is the flagship proprietary technology we introduced to change the way that you train and shoot. This is the Mantis X system that attaches to any firearm, can be used in dry fire and live fire practice, that provides real-time analytics, diagnostics, and feedback on what you're doing wrong and how to correct your technique. As we can see here, this is integrated into the Blackbeard now, and it tracks the movement of the firearm through the entire shot process. So as I move the gun up, down, left, right, it's tracking that movement very, very sensitively, very, very accurately. Even when I'm holding it very steady, you'll see it's very, very sensitive and tracks every little micro motion that we have. Even when rested on the table, you can see a slight jostle, a slight tap on the table generates movement within this very sensitive accelerometer gyroscope combination that we have integrated into it. So what I can do with this is now whenever I take a shot, it saves and analyzes that movement pattern surrounding that shot. There's a screen here where you can see the muzzle trace captured before, during, and after the shot as such. Every single shot saves and analyzes that muzzle trace, showing the movement before, during the aim and the hold, and then during the post-shot movement. Here, the blue is the movement during the aim and the hold. The yellow is the movement of the firearm during the trigger press. The white X is where the shot broke, and the red is post-shot movement. So you can see that as I took that shot, I pulled the gun slightly downward. It also gives me a score as to the quality of that shot. That shot was a 93. Let me show you a more egregious error. That shot was an 88.2 and up to the right. On this screen, we're able to see the score of the shooter that gauges the quality of their technique, which way they pulled the firearm while they were pulling the trigger, that deviated from their aiming position. In this particular case, the second shot I took went up to the right a little bit. Tapping on that brings up a screen that explains what can cause that from a technique perspective, and then also how to correct it. So this is a very simplistic, very basic overview of all the functionality contained within the Mantis X application, but it gives you a taste of the type and level of data that you can access that was never before accessible that can influence your shooting. Now, there are a ton of Mantis X users out there, and there are tons of Blackbeard users out there, and they want to know, hey, if I have my Mantis X and I have my Blackbeard, can I do the same thing? Can I put this on the rail, get the same access to the same level of data? The answer is yes, you can for the static shooting drills. For the dynamic shooting drills, you need the integrated piece. So now you have the analytics and diagnostics available to you in addition to the trigger reset and the laser emission. To use the X functionality, you press the on button here, a blinky Bluetooth light turns on, you connect to the app on your smartphone or tablet, and you're off to the races. Instantly, now we have unlocked capability regarding dynamic shooting analysis that we've never been able to analyze or look at before. The Blackbeard X, in addition to allowing you to do all the static shooting analysis, now unlocks capability for dynamic shooting analysis, particularly analyzing the economy of motion over high-speed multi-target engagement. We want to look at how efficient you are as you transition between targets and tell you what data and information you need to improve your efficiency, your accuracy, and your speed in a high-speed multi-target engagement. To show you some of this capability, I'm going to run through just a basic BBX dynamics drill. It's kind of like open training, but for dynamic shooting that allows you to do whatever you want to across multiple targets at whatever speed and gives you the data that you can analyze. And here we go. So 3 different targets, control pairs on each target. What does the data say? Let's break it down just quickly. My average score was 86. It gives you a score out of 100, again, based off of your efficiency, your economy of motion on that high-speed multi-target engagement. It tells you how much time it took, and then it breaks it down where your areas of strength and consistency are, as well as your areas of weakness and inconsistency. Let's look at what it says. My overall shot score is 86. That consists of 3 primary factors. The first factor is my delay score. How much time do I spend on target, delayed, before taking that shot? A very common area of loss of time in an engagement is people wait too long to take that shot when they could take it much faster with the same level of accuracy. This gives you that data saying it took me 4.85 seconds. I could have gone 1.3 seconds faster with the same level of accuracy. That's a confidence booster to me as a shooter saying, I'm where I need to be. I just need to take that shot when I have that target in my sights. The second area that it looks at is your over travel. So if I'm coming past a target and back onto it, that's a loss of time, a loss of efficiency, a loss of economy. So I want to know what shots I did that on and how I can improve that. If I quickly scan my list, I can see where I went past a target and back. And it gives me a score telling me how much I moved past that target in my over travel. Additionally, I can look and see where I had maybe better movement between targets. That one, not quite as much over travel, still some opportunity to improve. The third dimension it looks at is my transition score. When you're transitioning between two targets, 2 points, the most efficient path is a straight line. Any deviation from that path will deduct my points, deduct my score, and it'll show me visually where I have that opportunity to improve. For instance here, in this transition, a pretty smooth transition, my transition score is a 96.6. Pretty straight line, but some over travel. My next transition, a little bit worse, 86.5, because you can see I deviated from that line and curved on my way up. And the last transition, a significant deviation from what the most efficient path could have been. And you can walk through the entire shot sequence, shot by shot, looking at all your individual motion patterns, looking at your efficiency scores, and see quickly where you have opportunities to improve. Ideally, where you notice certain patterns where you need to improve, you'll slow down, do micro drills to say, for instance, I have an issue going from low right to upper left. I have issues with my transition path, with over travel. I'm just going to take that nice and slow until I have that consistent path, and it'll show me how consistent I'm being and how straight I'm being, how efficient I'm being. Then I can speed it up and speed it up and speed it up until the point of success, and then I'm going to push myself a little bit further to the point of failure so I can improve even more. So again, shot-by-shot analysis, you can see all the data in aggregate, see where there are areas to improve. Also, it gives you for each shot how much time it takes you post-shot to get off and as you start that transition. For instance, on my first transition, after the shot went off, I took 0.07 seconds to start that transition. Ideally, the transition happens right as soon as that shot is finished. A little bit slower on the next two transitions as well. So I can be more confident knowing that I can start that transition sooner in order to make up some of that lost time. Then it tells me how long it took me to transition between targets and how long it took me to take that shot once I was on target. So you can see lots of deficiencies and weaknesses there, and as I improve, I see all the data replicated for me, help me analyze my shooting and know how to improve. So that's the BBX Dynamics drill, which like I said is like open training. You can do whatever you want, set up whatever target set up you want to. Now for some, we want guided drills. We want to know exactly what we need to focus on. We want to know how we compare to other shooters and how we compare to ourselves. So with this first iteration, with this first release, we have about 10 different drills that analyze and focus on different dimensions of a very common high-speed multi-target engagements. So you can choose from any of those drills. For instance, a V drill. And it shows you exactly what that drill consists of in terms of where the target should be laid out, how many shots on each target, and how the transitions occur between them. Then you run through it just like we ran through the BBX Dynamics drill. It gives you that same level of data that you'll be able to analyze your efficiency of shooting. So that's the premise of the Blackbeard X and how it works. It's a powerful tool that unlocks, like I said, capability we've never been able to see or analyze before because we haven't had the data. And now we have data. And when we have performance data, quantifiable data, measurable data, performance can improve more rapidly than we can without access to that data. We're super excited about Blackbeard X. We've already had massive interest since we've kind of showed a peek under the covers to a few people at SHOT Show. And since then, we've done extensive testing with thousands and thousands of people. We're super excited to unlock this capability for the world and see what you can do with it. A few questions people may have. Do I need to buy the whole kit to use Blackbeard X? The answer is no. If you have an existing Blackbeard with the 20-round sized mag, then all you need to do is purchase a new magazine. And it works with your existing system. No need to purchase an additional bolt unless you want to. Is there a trade-in program? The answer is yes. If you don't want to have two magazines for mag changes or transitions or whatever else you want to practice, yes, you can trade in your old for the new. And go to our website for more details on that. Does it come in red? Yes, it does. Does it come in pink? No, it does not. Will it work with Glock mags? No. Does this work with the existing Mantis X app? Yes. Is the application free? Yes. Are all the updates free? Yes. If you have any other questions, hit up the best customer support team in the world at our website, mantisx.com.